everybody and welcome back to my channel. Now today's video I'm going to be doing a first impressions and kind of review of the L'Oreal Nude Magique Cushion Foundation and the L'Oreal Glam Bronze Cushion du Soleil bronzer. So if you would like to see kind of my first impressions, I'm also doing a check-in at the end of the day to see how kind of long wearing these products are, then just keep watching. This here is the packaging for the L'Oreal Nude Magique Cushion Foundation. It's really pretty actually. I'm pretty sure the one that's in America and other countries, the Illuminate Magique, is rose gold, but I'm not 100% sure. This is kind of like a purpley colour, but it's so nice. And then inside of it, obviously you get this sponge. Mine's looking a bit dirty because I've touched it and I've obviously had foundation on my hands. So it comes with the sponge, and then underneath the sponge you lift up another layer and lift up this bit of paper, and underneath is the foundation. So always remember to keep that paper there, because if you remove that paper then the foundation might dry out, and obviously you don't want it to dry out. So yeah, that is the foundation. The bronzer is very similar. It's a nice kind of bronzy coppery shade, and then obviously you open it up and it has the cushion like the foundation does, and then you open it up again and it has the seal, and then it has the bronzer. Right, so before I actually get on to applying the products, I just want to quickly mention a few kind of claims that L'Oreal make about the products. So for the foundation, they say if you tap a little you get a sheer coverage, and if you tap a lot then you get a medium coverage. There's also two types of this foundation. In England they have released it's the Nude Magique it's called, but in other countries such as the US it's called the Lumi instead of Nude. And basically the difference is that the Nude Magique version, the one that's in England, it only comes in 7 shades. So they kind of come in normal shades like rose beige, porcelain, stuff like that. Mine's in the shade 04. I think that's rose beige, but I could be wrong, but it's the number 04. As well as coming in different shades, it comes with different undertones. So they have ones with a yellow, a neutral and a pink undertone, and they have different shades for that undertone. So basically they kind of cater for more skin types. So I'm not quite sure why they released 2 different versions for different countries, because I kind of wish that we could get hold of the one with more variety of undertones, because obviously that would suit a lot more people, but hey ho. My shade I've got here is the 04 Rose Vanilla, that's the shade name. What it says about the Glam Bronze Cushion is that it's a universal shade. There's only one shade they brought out, and they said it can fit any kind of skin tone, which I don't know if I agree with, because I don't know how a bronzer can fit all skin tones. But we'll see when we apply it and see if it's buildable. If it's buildable, then yeah, it's more likely to be a universal shade, but if not, I don't know how that's supposed to work. And it says the same sort of thing, so if you tap a little you get a soft bronze glow, if you tap a lot you get a statement bronze glow. And that is it. They're basically the claims for both of the products and what they kind of say they do. So yeah, now let's just get on to applying them. So to prime, I'm using the Nivea Men Post Shave Balm, just because I know this primer works with kind of any foundation that I've used before, and it does prolong the wear of it, and it's also very affordable as well. So just applying this all over my face. As you can see, I've already got eye makeup and my eyebrows on. So lightly tapping it, quite a lot of product does come off onto the sponge, so I'm just going to use the mirror out of the compact to apply it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie guys, I don't like this. I literally feel like it's just soaked up all the product and none has gone on my face. I'll try it again, but I don't feel like any of that product has actually gone on my face. Okay guys, I'm not using this, I'm sorry, but it soaks up all the product. I like a kind of light coverage, not a very sheer coverage, so I feel like that's too sheer for me. I'm going to go in with the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. These are inexpensive anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. Just dabbing that in the foundation and then applying it to my skin. I tried to get a shade that would match my neck when I'm fake tanned, but I feel like this is a bit too light for me. When you actually look at the foundation in the cushion, it looks a lot darker than it's going to look on your skin, so make sure you try it out kind of before you purchase it. So far I'm really liking it, although it is a very light coverage. I have pressed the sponge in quite a few times to kind of go around the whole of my face. So now I'm just going over any areas that I feel like I want a bit of extra coverage, because I want to see how buildable this foundation is. I would say this is definitely a light coverage foundation, but I feel like once I've applied the second layer it has gone to a medium coverage. So the foundation itself is quite luminous. It's quite a dewy foundation, so if you're not one for a dewy foundation, I wouldn't recommend this at all. It does look very, very natural. Even after 2 layers, it doesn't look thick or cakey on the skin. I find in between my eyebrows here, it makeup tends to like cake up. It hasn't done that at all. It hasn't caked up around my nose. So yeah, so far so good. I'll just zoom you in a little bit so you can see more of what I'm talking about. So hopefully now you can see my skin a little bit better. So now I'm going to try the bronzer, and I dabbed my beauty blender in once and a heck of a lot came onto it, so I feel like this is going to be enough to cover my entire face. Yeah, this is definitely enough. Okay, you don't need a lot of this. I've got way too much right now. So now I'm just going to go in with the beauty blender and bounce it into my skin. I feel like this bronzer would be perfect for the summer because it's obviously kind of a liquid cream form. So it's obviously going to look a bit more natural than powder bronzers are. Again, this has a very kind of luminous finish, just like the foundation did. It's very, very, very easy to blend, as you can imagine, for a kind of liquid cream bronzer. Okay, I am absolutely loving that product. It looks so natural on the skin. It's got a nice kind of bronzy glow to it. It's just brought the warmth back into my face. It's not too orange undertone, but it's not too cool undertone, so it doesn't look muddy or cakey. I'm just going to apply a tiny bit more to see if it is buildable, because obviously people with darker skin than me, if it isn't buildable, this isn't going to be the product for you. Okay, so this definitely is buildable, but I think for me, I don't want it to get any darker than this, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I don't know if people with darker skin tones than me will like this product, because I don't think it is dark enough. I don't feel like they've thought about people with very dark skin tones at all when creating this product. And also people that are extremely pale, this may even be too dark for you. With my kind of skin tone, it's fine, like it's such a beautiful shade. Maybe if you're very pale, try it and just apply a tiny amount and see if it can work. But I feel like it is buildable, so I don't know how buildable it is, but for me this is kind of a perfect shade, and I really, really love how it looks on the skin. It looks very dewy, luminous and natural. It's kind of, now that I've got the foundation and the bronzer, my face doesn't look so flat, and it does look very, very natural. Like it almost seems as if I'm not actually wearing anything on my face. I just have very naturally flawless skin, which I don't, but with this foundation and this bronzer it looks like I do. So I'm just going to head off camera and apply the rest of my makeup, and I will catch you in a bit. So I'm back and I just went off and applied the rest of my makeup. I will leave all the other products I used down below. I just applied a bit of bronzer, highlight, blush, and then some concealer, and then just set that with a powder. So not too much on top. I only set the places, kind of my T-zone area, and that has definitely mattified, but the rest of my face is still looking really lovely and glowy, which is so, so nice for the summer. I love the finish of both of these products. Even with the concealer on top, my foundation has not gone cakey at all. It still looks very, very natural on the skin. It looks lovely actually. I really, really like the finish of it. I really like how it looks. It's doing good basically. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in probably about 8 hours and see how the foundation and the bronzer are wearing throughout the day, just so you can get kind of a clear idea of how long wearing these products are, because I know when some people do reviews and yeah, their first impression's good, but you never know, 2 hours later it could be melting off their face. So yeah, it's quite hot today, so bear that in mind, but I will be coming back later to do a check-in. I'm only going to do one just because I've got a shift at work, and that is kind of the earliest that I can come back and talk to you guys, and I'll end the video there. Yeah, so far so good. I'm loving the foundation and the bronzer. They're so natural looking. I feel like these are great products for the summer because they're very buildable, but they can be applied to have such sheer coverage, which I really love, but you can build it up to a medium coverage. So yeah, I completely agree with the L'Oreal terms that they kind of set out. But the only thing I would say is that I don't really agree the bronzer is a universal shade. I think people darker than me may struggle to get enough colour payoff for their skin tone. People lighter than me may find it hard not to apply too much, but you never know. I especially like the bronzer actually. I think the foundation is quite similar to other ones I've got, like the Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum and the L'Oreal Sculpt foundation. I feel like they're very similar contenders, but the bronzer, I've never seen anything like this before in England, and I really do like it. So yeah, I will see you guys in a bit. Hello everybody, so I've just come back from work and my foundation and the bronzer has been on for about 7 hours. It's actually looking pretty good. Nowhere on my face has gone patchy at all. It's kind of caked up a tiny bit around the nose and in between the eyebrows, but literally all my foundations do that, so it's not surprising. The bronzer is definitely still there, that has not budged at all, and also I think it really helped kind of adhere the products that I put on top to it, because none of my other products have moved, like the blusher, the bronzer and the highlight, none of that has moved. So I really feel the kind of cushion bronzer has helped stick other products to it. I did set my face with powder. I set most of my face, my T-zone and kind of this area here. None of the foundation have moved from this area here, although I am looking a little bit shiny in my T-zone, but quite a lot of my foundation that does happen with. So I don't know whether it's just because I kind of have combination skin and that kind of areas of my face does get a little bit oily anyway, but it hasn't. If you have super oily skin, I don't know if I'd recommend this because it is quite a dewy foundation anyway, and the fact that I have oiliness in my T-zone kind of shows that anyone with more oily skin than me may start to look a bit greasy throughout the day. But I mean, I'm sure I could always powder this down with a pressed powder and it would look fine. Also, I just wanted to quickly talk about the prices of these products. Now, the foundation and the bronzer are £9.99 each, and on the 1st of June they go up to £15 each. They start at £9.99 because that's kind of their introductory price. Well, that's what the price is in Superdrug. I don't know whether they have that price in other shops, but when I bought them they were £9.99 each, and when I bought them they were also on offer, so when I bought one I got one half price, so I got both of them for £15, which I think is so good because next month just for one it will cost you £15, but for me it cost me £15 for both, plus I got student discounts, so they were actually quite affordable for me, like £7.50 each. But at £15 each, that is quite pricey for a drugstore foundation. £10 as the introductory price isn't so bad, but I'm not quite sure whether when this goes up to full price I would buy it again. The only thing I would say is because this is like a liquid soaked into a cushion, I don't feel as though this foundation would last as long as a foundation in a bottle, because you do use quite a lot at a time. Depends obviously how much coverage you want. But the bronzer I feel would last longer because obviously you don't use as much bronzer as you do foundation. So I feel like the introductory price, these are both really good products for £10, although I don't know if I would go out and purchase either of them when they go up to £15. I feel as though that is quite expensive. I may repurchase the bronzer when it goes back up to full price, just because there's nothing like it in the drugstore, and it gives you such a nice natural glowy look, and it doesn't look as though you're caked in product as you may look when you've got a kind of powder bronzer on. I don't know if I'd repurchase the foundation just because I have got other foundations that I do like just as much. But it is a really nice product and gives a nice dewy finish and does last a long time. thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know down below, and also let me know if you'd like to see any more first impressions. I really am intrigued to do a video on the Revlon matte liquid lipsticks. They look really nice, and not many other drugstore brands have brought kind of liquid lipsticks out yet. So let me know if you want to see that. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!